In today's unboxing, we go back to Gotham. Hey everyone, it's Andrew here from Canhammer, and today we got another unboxing for you. This one's a pretty big one, I think. It's the new 3rd edition Batman Miniatures game 2-player starter. I will note that this was sent to the channel by Night Models for review. That's not going to really change my opinion of the product, but just something for you guys to be aware of. This was released, I guess, by the time you guys see this video, maybe like 2 months ago, in sort of the middle of January. Really cool stuff. Big changes to the game. Night Models have released all the rules and the traits compendium on their website for free, so if anyone's interested, you're able to download that and check it out yourself. I'm not going to go into like rules review for this, although you'll probably see it in upcoming battle reports for the channel. I do have to say this box is ginormous. Like, I can barely fit it onto the screen without having to like pull the camera so far back you wouldn't be able to see any detail anyway. So this is the best I can do, but like this thing is fucking massive. I'll probably just measure it out so you guys get like an idea of the scale, but this thing is a little over 15 inches tall, just shy of 19 inches wide, and like 3 or 4 inches, yeah, another 3 or 4 inches wide. Like, this thing is huge. It weighs a ton. It's full of miniatures and cardboard, which you guys will see. I haven't opened it yet, the shrink wrap's on, but they got this new style for the box, which is this really cool like muted yellow and black color. Really flashy. It's gonna look good on like a store shelf and everything. And also, let's flip it over. So on the back, it goes into more detail on sort of everything you get in the box, which is, you know, a big chunk of stuff. Then a little bit of like a description of the Batman Miniatures game, and then sort of an action shot of everything you get included. So you get 16 miniatures, which is crazy. You get the rulebook, a quick start guide, which I guess is these up here. You get all the cards you need to play the game, because the game has changed a bit, so there is sort of an objective card system now instead of just having objectives placed on the board. You get a bunch of terrain, and then all your markers and templates and tokens and all that fun stuff that you need, and then all your bases and a little bit of dice. Doesn't show the dice on the box. I wonder if they'll be like those fancy ones they put out with like the Joker laughs and stuff, but we'll find out when we open her up. One thing to note, which is really great about this product, is this contains 2 full 350 rep crews. So if you are a friend and trying to get into this game, this is like the perfect way to do it out. Especially if like you're both into the factions included, but even not, like, you already have 2 full crews that you can just start playing the games, and if you're so inclined you can hit up tournaments and other things as well. But that's the box, so I guess let's get the shrink wrap off. I haven't opened this yet, as you guys can see, so this will be just as much a surprise for me as you guys on what's in here. Okay, this looks like it's, yeah, okay. This is like a big sleeve that they just have over top. Try not to rip it because it's kind of cool looking. Maybe I'll put it up on a shelf. Jesus Christ. All right. Push that out of the way. Yeah, so here's the box. Similar to the sleeve, I guess. Just the bottom. Oh geez, just the bottom side is more plain. Again, this box is huge. It's pretty heavy duty. And let's just crack her open. All right. So first of all, we got looks like all the cardboard. So this is the terrain. Your tokens and things are up here. All the terrain's sort of like this Joker fun park look. So looks like he's changed the heads on the shooting thing with Batman and Robin. I guess it won't show the bottom. So we'll open that in a second. Just give you guys a general idea of what's in here first. Then we got the rule books. It's both are soft cover. I think the purple one is the quick start. Yeah, start here. So this purple book is the quick start rules. And then you got your main rule book as well. So that's nice and handy to have. Good size too. This isn't like a small digest size. Like if you look at my hand, I got big hands. So this is like a full size rule book, which is nice to have. And then you got a bunch of miniatures. I have no idea what this stuff is. It looks like parts of the Joker. Harley Quinn. Just touching this already though. So one of the big things, I think this is Deadshot who's in here as well. One of the things they were talking about with the new miniatures and the sculpts is they've changed their resin again. This time to like a sort of flexible, still like highly detailed. I'll get some closer pictures in a second. Still highly detailed, but it's not as hard and brittle. Like if you look at this, like this sprue is pretty bendy, and the miniatures are fine. So like something like this, like the shotgun, I think for one of the cops, like look at that. It just goes like right back, maybe a little bit bent, but for the most part, like it's basically as straight as it was. This guy's leg, should probably get back down into the light. Like this is really cool, because if anyone's been playing Batman for a while, they know that while the models are super nice, they were very fragile, and was very easy to like snap pieces off, especially like small things like something like this shotgun, or you know, detail like this baton. The baton moves. Of course you can't see because of the, it's like this is a police baton. I'm just kind of like bending the shit out of it, and it's just fine. So that's really cool. It's gonna make those miniatures just a little bit more durable on the table, especially for someone like me with kind of all thumbs for fingers, and just is not very delicate with my toys. So yeah, I don't know what that head's for. And then what else are we getting here? Got the cards. Oh Jesus, they're right in there. Alright. So we got, what do we got here? Faction cards. So these are your, Jesus Christ. There we go. Gonna wreck the box. Okay, so you get this giant stack of cards. But I still haven't gotten them all out yet. Oh my god, it just keeps going. I think there's one card in there, it's wedged in. I'll have to get it out later. So you got the new cards for your characters. Split them off. Yeah, because these are the objective cards, which I'll show you in a second. So here's the new style of how they're going to do their cards. Because of the way the rules have changed, you no longer need like sort of like a setup, because you're not actually going to be applying counters to stats anymore. You just sort of have like a base pool that you can draw off as you play. So we got, looks like some of the cops, or the Brave and the Bold crew. It's kind of weird, they're all mixed together. Yeah, Yeah, so these are the Joker faction. And then Brave and the Bold are over here. So yeah, like, again, you get full crew, so you got a few cops. Then you got Batman himself. This one's, I think, based on some artwork done by the guy who did Spawn, Todd McFarlane, that's his name. Then you got Commissioner Gordon and Harvey Bullock, which is awesome. I've been wanting Harvey Bullock in the game for basically ever, because one of my favorite factions is just running like a pure cop list with no like heroes or anything. So having Harvey Bullock there is pretty cool too. And then for this, let's kind of figure out. So we got Harley and Deadshot for the Joker crew. Then the Joker himself as the leader. And then thugs. Now, the cool thing about these thugs is even though they're assembled as clowns, which you can kind of see from the picture, they're actually all affiliate unknown, so they're actually just generic henchmen. And in this box, there are heads that aren't clown heads, so you can have them for any faction. If you already have like a bad guy crew, you can just buy these guys, paint them up how you want for your crew, and just don't use the clown heads, use the like generic heads, and they'll fit in any faction. So that's pretty cool. Gives some value to the box too for some of those people who maybe don't play either Joker or Batman. At least they'll have some models they can fit into a crew, plus you get all your like objectives and terrain. So this is really good value so far. We'll move those aside. The dice, so they are just kind of plain old generic dice, which is fine, you know, nice to have, especially if you don't play this game or haven't played miniatures games before and you might not have dice. At least now you're set to go. Would have been nice to see 2 sets, but like this is enough to get you going, especially for a product like this where it is sort of a introduction to the game, but also gives you everything you need to play. That's cool there. Big bag of bases. And then baggies and baggies of miniatures. Let's take a look at some of these faction cards. Are these all faction cards? Or sorry, not faction cards, the objective cards. I think they are. I don't know what's the difference between these yellow ones. I'll have to read the rulebook. Do some close-ups in a second. Yeah, so these are sort of the cards you're going to be using to score objectives and things. And let's just cut for a closer look at some of this stuff once I get it a little bit more organized. And I'll show you some close-ups of the miniatures and stuff in there as well, so you can just see how good the detail is with this new sort of, I don't know, resin? I guess it's resin. It's got to be resin material. So we'll be right back with a little bit more of a cleaned up look and better close-ups. Alright, so you get a shit ton of cards in this new edition. Like this one deck is ginormous. I'll go over what these all do in a minute. First let's check out the stat cards. So new style stat cards, all sort of the same information. You got the weapon information, any special rules are listed at the bottom still. Then you got your reputation and funding cost here, willpower, endurance, and then your attack, defense, strength, movement, and special. And then you got like your affiliation and what rank they fill in the crew. Continuing what they started last edition, any special rules are listed on the back and kind of tell you what they do. You get 2 full crews, like I said. So for the cops, you get a few generic cops, pretty cool. Harvey Bullock, Wicked, Commissioner Gordon as the leader, and then the new Batman as well. For the Joker crew, let's just separate these out properly. You got the new Joker, Harley Quinn, and then Deadshot as a free agent. And then you get the generic thugs. 6 of them, I believe. Yeah. And the cool thing about these is, like I said before, they're all rank affiliate unknown. So these are all generic thugs that can go in any crew. And they all do come with separate heads for not being Joker themed. The best one being this one, which is kind of a reprint of my boy Punker, which I've been asking for forever. So I'm super stoked to get a chainsaw wielding maniac again to put on the board. After that is, I guess, the objective cards we can go over. So this is supposed to be 2 decks. I kind of fucked up and mixed them all together trying to organize these. But these are how you score points in the game. Luckily, a lot of them have what faction they apply to in one of the corners. Sometimes they're generic, so they'll have nothing. And this kind of tells you how much points they're worth, and then how many you can have in your pre-constructed deck at the beginning of the game. Now these work in 2 ways. You can either fulfill the condition to score the points, and then you just kind of put that aside and you count up how many cards you score at the end of the game. Or you can burn the cards to get like an in-game effect that happens immediately, so you won't score points, but it might give you a bonus or a benefit throughout the turn or the rest of the game to help you, I guess, achieve more cards later on. So like I said before, I kind of messed up and mixed these together, so I'll have to separate them out at a later date, but that's the huge 2 objective decks you get. One for Brave and the Bold, one for Batman, and then all the generic cards in there. Then next up you got the encounter cards. So how these work is just like your deployment zones and stuff. So at the beginning of the game, you would just either, I guess, pick with your opponent which one you want to play, or shuffle them up and then just pick one at random and sort of be surprised on how you're going to have to deploy and score objectives. So that's cool. I assume in tournaments like this would be preset, so it'd be like, okay, round 1 you're playing this card, round 2 you're playing like this, whatever. But for like home games and stuff, or for probably bat reps on the channel, we'll just randomize it because that's more interesting, I think. Then you get the plot cards. So these are at the beginning of the game. I think you draw 4 of these and you pick one. And it's sort of like what you're trying to accomplish throughout the turn, or throughout the game. So if you score all these, I think you gain additional bonus points or something. And you know, they're fairly easy for the most part. Like if you're playing the game right, or if you're doing what you're supposed to with your crew and not getting shut down too hard, I don't think it would be too hard to score these cards. And those are just more ways to help you win the game. And then finally there's the event deck. So these are drawn and sort of change, I guess, the game state and like what's going on in the table as things go. And these are, I believe, optional, the event cards, or you and your opponent can choose to use them if you want. So with that, let's take a closer look at some of the miniatures included in the box and just go into more detail on how cool some of these new sculpts are. Alright, so this is a miniatures game, so I'm sure you guys want to check out some of these miniatures as well. A lot of them come on these, at least the extra pieces come on these sprues. Again, they got this weird new material that's fucking bendy and doesn't snap. It's really crazy. I've kind of been like dicking around with it a bit, and it's nice. I want to say similar to Bones, but the amount of detail on these miniatures is insane. I have one set aside that I just lost for reference. Where did it go? Oh yeah, right here. So this is one of the cops. Now, if anyone's worked with Bones material by Reaper, is this gonna show? Yeah. Like, look at the wording on the back of this guy's coat. Like, there's such crazy sharp detail on these guys. The lights aren't helping, but I think you guys can get the point. Like, no detail is lost by switching to this weird bendy material. Look at his leg, I'm just bending it. I guess it's not showing up because my big meaty fingers are in the way, but and it just kind of goes back into place. I haven't tested it myself, but people have said that if there is something warped, the hot water trick, so just run it under hot water and sort of bend it back into shape, does work with these miniatures. Here's that dead shot, but like, look at the detail on his pants, all that piping, and the legs, and the belts and stuff. Like, just because it's a new material doesn't mean they've lost any of like the high detail that you'd expect from a Night Models miniature. So it's all there. Not too much to say. Like, the models look like they're really cool. Here's some hands and arms and stuff. There's options too. Like, Joker can have a few different hand options for what weapons they have. Here's an example of the two heads for like the thugs. So we got either this creepy looking clown face or this big chin motherfucker right here. Is he wearing a do-rag? I think he is. Here's another example too. So you got either the clown head or like the generic just kind of thug face. So that's all there. A lot of the characters are like big multi-part pieces, so let's move some of this aside. So like Batman, he's like 4 different pieces plus his head, plus there's like a huge like rock that he's standing on. Should probably get it out of the bag, that'd help, eh? So yeah, it's a multi-part piece. I don't even know how the hell this goes together. I assume that's the top where Batman sits. Like this. Maybe? I don't know. There's instructions too. I'm just kind of like goofing around with this shit. This rock. So he's going to be a big model, right? He's going to stand pretty high off the table. Just for scale reference, I got my old Joker model. Arkham Joker. And here's the new body for the current Joker. So if I kind of stand him on the base, you can see the scale's pretty close, although Joker's also in his weird pose. Or I guess unpainted Joker is in his weird pose, so he'd probably stand a little bit taller. So I do kind of think that the scale is a little bit bigger. Where's that cop again? Here's a new cop. Let's get them out. Yeah. So again, this guy's kind of leaning, but he is a little bit bigger. Looks like the scale's up a little bit, but I don't think it would be too much of a problem. And since all your old stuff is compatible with the new version. Hey, Joker. Won't focus, will you? There you go. I don't think it'll look too bad mixing like old and new models together. Like, I plan to do that with these cops because that's just my favorite crew. And then a lot of the characters have like are on what is it, 50 mil bases, 60 mil bases, and they have like pieces of scenery with them. So here's Gordon. I don't know how this goes together, I'm just kind of putting pieces together, but he has like the bat signal on his base, and then he can be leaning up against it having a sig, which is pretty cool. If anyone has the old bat signal, you know, you can use that and kind of convert your own large base model as well. That does have an effect in game too, because zones of control for like your leader does matter, and it helps with activation and stuff. So I think you're gonna see a lot of like the new leader rank people have these sort of huge bases, while like all the thugs and stuff have just regular sized 30 mil bases, or if you're a slightly bigger model of 40 mil. I think this is Bullock. Yeah, because he has his coffee. But like, look at the detail. So even though it's like this weird new resin, like just as good models as before. Now, one thing I do know about this stuff, and there was a good example on one of these bat capes pieces. Of course I can't find it now. I did want to talk about this. Okay, well here. This works anyway. So there are still like a bit of mold lines. I think you can kind of see it, like the flash on the edge of his leg there. Well, especially on this side. Because this new material is harder to, or is more bendy and flexible. It is harder to get mold lines off. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the cape I was looking for. So I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it in this angle. So like this line right along the edge. So stuff like your Citadel mold line cleaner isn't gonna work because it doesn't scrape, like as you can see very well. Like that did nothing almost to the new material. Of course it won't show up on camera because it's maybe a little too bright. Like that mold line's still there, I can't get it off. So what you are gonna have to do is actually slice it a bit. So I would suggest getting a scalpel like this with a very like fine point, and just you'd have to go in. I'm not gonna do it on camera because it's really hard to do things looking through a viewfinder, but you're gonna have to go in and just kind of like slice it flush, and then maybe use a bit of green stuff. So that is, I guess, one downside of the new material, but considering I'm not gonna worry about dropping a model off the table and it blowing up into like friggin' dust with like the old material, that's something I'm willing to live with, considering just how well like the detail on these models are. Like these look great. I guess one other people are excited for is the new Harley. So that's her. She's got like a big sign that she's kind of like jumping off and smashing. So there's the piece of her base there. There's kind of her backside. There's the front, and she does have two head options. So you can either go without the sort of classic mask on, so she's got like her hair out, or you can put the classic mask on, which I think I'm gonna go with that one. And then she's got this big hammer, and when I first saw this model particularly, I was like, holy crap, that's gonna break and snap. But like, especially the hammer mallet, but like look, like I'm bending this right back to normal. Like this is crazy. So yeah, those are the miniatures. You get a bunch of them. I would assume you're gonna have to wash them as well, just like any resin product, to make sure like your paint sticks and everything. But really cool, very nice models, very in theme with like the rest of the game too. So like these guys won't stand out super crazy from like your old collection if you still have it. Maybe some of like the bigger pieces will, because I think that's just a shift in the way the game is going to be played, is those bigger models do have a certain purpose in game. But other than that, like this fits in just as well with anything else, and I'm really excited to try it out. So with that, let's take a quick look at the rulebooks, and we'll finish off this video. Alright, so here's I think the main reason the box is so big, which is all the cardboard that comes with it. So it's all punch out terrain. It's all separated by sheets of paper, and it's very nicely punched, because as you can see, just the weight of it is also starting to punch it out itself. So you get a good amount of terrain to make a board with. Very like highly detailed pieces. So this is like parts of the funhouse, and you can see like the wood grain and everything. Like this is all very high quality. Does seem a little thicker too than some of the previous one. Let's see if I can get this off without wrecking it. I already wrecked it. It is cardboard, so I kind of bent that piece, but whatever. Be more careful with yours. It does seem more like heavy duty though. Like I remember the Dark Knight Rises one, the cardboard buildings were super flimsy, but like this is solid. So I think this will hold up a lot better than some of that other stuff. And it's really cool because it's that like fun house theme. And then you get, it's just popping right off. Then you got all your tokens and stuff that you need. So I don't know what these numbers are for. These, I think these are your past tokens. And I'm sure all these have some sort of effect in game, but I don't know what they are yet because I haven't actually read the rulebook too closely. Okay, so it's just coming right out. I think this is the Ferris Wheel piece, which is really cool. Again, it has like that Joker theme. And then all your tokens you need. I assume those are to hold together. Your sewer markers. fire tokens, I would guess. And they've used good use of space because these will pop out. So they put everything inside, so that's kind of neat. More pieces of the Ferris wheel. More tokens. I believe that will be like your blast template or gas token. Yeah. Or your bat signal. And it's cool because it's all double-sided. So here's your damage tokens. So blood, stun markers. I think freeze tokens. So even though there's no freezing in the game, they give you the tokens you need for other factions and stuff that as well. Then you got the new spray template. Is it double-sided? Yeah, cool. So you got the gas one as well. Looks like Joker gas. Okay, wow. Joker gas tokens. You got your ammo tokens too, so you can keep track of what bullets have been shot and whatnot. All that fun stuff. Here's more of just the buildings. The ticket booth. And again, all double-sided. This one's a little dark, actually. The shooting gallery is a bunch of nooses with Batman hanging in one of them. That's a little fucked up. Then there's all these. Other side of the... Actually, if I keep the paper on, it won't fall out. The other side of the Ferris wheel. Super bright and colorful, too, so this will be cool to put on a table. I think we'll probably do a couple bat reps with just this stuff. And then you got, like, your... Can I pick this up without it all falling out? You got your like measurement sticks, and they're all numbered, so that's helpful. They even got like a little 1-inch one. I think I'd probably just prefer this, to be honest. I was never a really big fan of like movement sticks, but it's cool that they're included, especially because they want you to play the game right out of the box. So everything included is what you need to play, which is pretty awesome. Then you get 2 rule books. Get out of here, token. You get the quick start and the regular one. So let's start with the quick start because I think it's probably clearly where they want you to start with. And this sort of just gives you, some fluff text, and then get all this shit out of the way. Things you need to play. It gives a breakdown of the card, sequence of play and stuff, and then sort of walks you through the new rules. So there's like sections on how to, it feels better if I angle it up. Yeah, it does. So it kind of walks you through how to play, and they have like little mini scenarios to help you learn the rules. And then you play using the terrain. It kind of tells you how to set it up and what you're supposed to be doing each mission, and then I guess by the end of it you should have learned how to play Batman by then. So this is just like a quick thing, and then all the instructions for your minis. And the scenery assembly, because yeah, this one looks like it would be finicky. That's the big Ferris wheel. That's sort of like the centerpiece of the whole terrain kit. But then you get a lot of like, you get 4 little stalls, some of this stuff. I don't know what all this shit is. I'll put it together and you'll see it in an upcoming bat rep. But yeah, so this is cool to have. Probably won't see much use once you learn the game, but starting out, like, this is perfect. This is exactly what you want. Still a lot of tokens there. And then the main rulebook. So this one's a lot thicker. It's actually bound instead of stapled. So the quick start is stapled, but it's there for a reference, not really the main thing. The main show and the thing you're going to be using probably the most is this. And this just goes into all the rules in more detail. Has like advertisements for new miniatures or other games. Gives you kind of like a quick few shots of some of the other crews you can play in the game. All stuff we've seen before so far. I think there are a few teaser picks in here, but it's nice to have. I always like the gallery section in games. Then the scenarios are at the back. I'm kind of going back to front. That's all the fun stuff. See, so like that's a new model that we're gonna be getting. Dark Knight Returns. I forget the comic. But on his horse. And then it explains how all the cards work. More miniatures. This is Joker's old crew fighting Joker's new crew. And that explains how all the cards work, which you would hope at least. There's that new Harley. Basically all the rules you need in more detail. Here's another miniature that was, I think, their pre-release for this book. So it's Bane in the Batman suit. I guess in one of the comics he takes over Batman's role. There's my boy Harvey, Wicked. And then, you know, all the rules, movement, jumping down, all the stuff you expect from before. It's just that they now have, I guess, like a sequence of play for that stuff. Basically everything you expect from the main core rulebook, so it goes into everything. One thing I noticed though, and maybe I'm wrong. Oh, and here's, so this edition is in memory of Gustavo. If you guys don't know, he was like integral to making the Batman miniatures game and keeping up with the rules and stuff, and unfortunately he passed away I think last summer. So it's cool that they gave him, you know, in memoriam for that, because, you know, that's pretty cool, and to just show appreciation for like what a great guy he was and how good he was for the game. So that's kind of a big deal. I am noticing that the traits aren't in this book though, so you will need to, if you want like the full list of traits for a crew, you are gonna have to, I guess, get that off their website. But for having just like the basic rules, that's here. And to be honest, with the way the cards are, you don't even really need that section for yourself, because all the traits you need are listed out and what they do on the back. Like, it's not like the rule book has these in greater detail. It just kind of tells you what they do on the cards. So with that, I think that is the complete box set. I'm sure this video is going to be super long. Hopefully you all saw what you wanted to out of this set, and keep tuned to the channel for more bat wraps and stuff, because we will be playing this, me and Zach at least. And yeah, so with that, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.